Hey everybody, Robert Dunt, founder of ArtTop10.com, and here I am outside the Business Design Centre in Islington, London. And I'm just about to pop in to go and see the London Art Fair 2020, and also looks like I might be able to have a quick chat with Sarah Monk, the director of the fair. So let's go inside and see what happens. I'm really pleased to be here today with Sarah Monk, the director of London Art Fair. So I think you were just saying, one way or another, you've spent 16 years working on London Art Fair.
I have, not this edition, obviously,
no.
but yeah, I've my background is I studied art, worked in public galleries and museums
Very nice.
for several years, and then decided to dip my toe in the water of the commercial art world.
Yeah, exactly. So, would you say there's something special about London Art Fair? I mean, there's quite a few art fair these days. What really picks this one out of the others?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the fair itself has been running for 32 years. It's our 32nd edition.
Wow.
And we have changed considerably over that period. So when we first launched in this venue, it was a fair which had under 50 galleries, mainly London-based, and just several thousand visitors. But now we have 126 galleries from 14 different countries, and probably attract around 24,000 visitors over the course of the week.
That's really good.
So it's evolved really to be one of the most important fairs for modern and contemporary art in London, and we've really enjoyed being able to kickstart the cultural calendar each year.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I mean, that's the thing I always like about it, is that you can go down there and you can see like a Ben Nicholson or something really traditional, sort of modern British, and then you can also wander around. You've got really exciting contemporary work. You've got a lovely juxtaposition.
Absolutely. And I think that's certainly something I hear visitors commenting on in terms of how they're able to make some really interesting comparisons and contrasts into, whether it's thematically, artists still looking and using art to display their thoughts and feelings about what's happening socially, politically, emotionally, to do with well-being. Art is, it's visual storytelling, and how artists are using it as a medium to sort of communicate with their audience. And I think too that range allows us to offer something to both the really experienced, confident art collector and connoisseur, but equally it's about us introducing new art enthusiasts into the world of appreciating art, and really enabling them to sort of start thinking about acquiring a piece and building up that habit we hope for life.
And actually, that's a really interesting thing. So obviously, art fairs have changed the landscape quite a lot of the art world, haven't they?
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel they've brought something beneficial to the art world, given it a more exciting, accessible?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's it's very democratic. It's it's very much. We look to really create an opportunity for people to engage with the very best art and galleries from across the globe, and have the reassurance of the work being selected and the galleries being selected to exhibit by experienced dealers who form our selection committee. So that type of vetting and endorsement that there is in the fair, I think, equally gives a really strong sense of trust amongst our visitors. Obviously we have visitors that come back year on year looking to reacquaint themselves with galleries they've known and loved, encountering at the fair. But equally, people want to be, they want to make new discoveries. They want to be challenged. They want to be surprised. So we have to be able to make it possible for young galleries to come and exhibit at the fair, and to put forward really innovative and challenging presentations. So we have a curated section called Art Projects, which we subsidise. So the cost to exhibit there for younger galleries is less than in the main body of the fair. And it means that we have a really strong then history of galleries that are introduced to the fair in that section, and then gradually build up their client base at the fair. They as a business evolve and build up their programming and ambition, and often then come to take much larger presentations in the main fair. So it's about the role that we as a fair and every fair plays in that sort of whole art ecosystem.
I think it sounds
nurturing
really good.
galleries.
I do like it. As you say, you have got that. You've got the more edgy, sort of exciting upcoming, and you've got the traditional.
Absolutely.
So those new collectors coming in, what would your advice be on how to choose their first purchase?
I think, ultimately, with any, with any object, with any luxury item or something that you want to sort of own, always go with your gut. Always look at something that is speaking to you, do you love it? Obviously people are interested often to see how something can appreciate and value, but I think I'd be very reluctant to recommend that as a key driver because, things may appreciate and value, but it may be over time. So you want to have something that you can continue to love and enjoy.
Absolutely. And so, last question. If you could take one piece of the art home, what would it be? Do you have a favourite? Or is that putting you on the spot too much?
It is slightly. I mean, in terms of completely unattainable, I would probably say something from our museum partner presentation. So we have, alongside the galleries at the fair, we, for the last 7 years, have worked with a different regional museum and invited them to bring the very best of their collection to the fair to really shine a light on the fantastic public collections that there are across the UK in our regional museums, and really encourage the audience that comes to the fair to make that trip to Southampton to sort of see the collection in its entirety. So Southampton City Art Gallery, they have a vast collection, but the sort of absolute heart of it is an incredibly strong 20th century collection, but equally they are one of the very few public gallery collections that has, I think they've got something in the region of 22 Turner Prize nominees and around 14 Turner Prize winners in the collection, I think, which is a really good example of, a collection which is very much continuing to grow, and they have a very, very strong purchasing policy around, championing contemporary artists. They've recently acquired more video art as well, so you have amazing Stanley Spencers and Gwen Johns in the presentation here, but equally they've allowed us to represent a Jeremy Deller wall painting, which equally sits in the collection. So a Jeremy Deller wall painting.
One of those.
I'll have one of those.
That's lovely. That's brilliant. Thanks so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
So here we are inside London Art Fair 2020. You can see some of the galleries down there on the level, lurking around. See a little Ben Nicholson painting lurking back there. And so over there is like where you can get food up there, and there's galleries all around these upper levels as well. So let's have a stroll around and see what we can see. Actually a John Wells at the top, and Ben Nicholson below with a little jug. I like the jug ones. I always like the way these carve a little kind of piece of paper actually. What is it? Yeah, it's a mixed media on paper on board. 38 by 30, and that's £35,000. That's the sort of thing I like about London Art Fair. You've got classic examples of like Ben Nicholson stuff, and different of those classic kind of sort of what would have been modern British painting, I suppose is the best way to describe it. And you've got some more contemporary stuff in here as well. So that looks like kind of Gerhard Richter piece over there. Let's see if it is. No, it's not. I'm having a bad day today for guessing them. Jonathan S. Hooper. Although to me that looks exactly like a Gerhard Richter, basically. Oh, look, there you go. Wild sculpture man on the ground. Check him out. Over here, let's see these are by. These look like by, before I get them all wrong today, Roger Hilton. With this sort of funky little works on paper, £12,000 for that. It's quite nice. It's got the different colour sections, like that one's a sort of bluey, browny, orangey one. This one's more red, orangey, black. There's a sort of freshness. I mean, there's obviously got that childlike quality, like this one with the horse and the riders, and another kind of childlike vibe on here, which is quite intriguing. Actually even more extraordinary, this picture here, which is actually a Bomberg. This one on the right, £15,000, and that is barges. I've never seen it, because the more classic Bombergs are like this one on the left here, or this one over here on the further left. Let me just expand the screen so you can see them a bit more clearly. Yeah, so you can see those, they're more or less sort of darker, earthy colours. So this one is quite a strange one actually, with the blue, but what I love about it is that blue actually defines a kind of space in the painting. Absolutely stunning. So stroll around and see what's in this bit here. There's a William Gere, I don't know much about him. You've got Ian Davenport, obviously he's more contemporary, still alive. From a distance it looks like Bridget Riley. His things are always like dripping paint out of syringes. But yeah, it's fine, isn't it? I mean, I guess it's a way of selling an Ian Davenport with making it affordable and done on paper. But it's alright, isn't it? I'm not going to complain. And these are other similar Ian Davenports. I don't know, I mean, would you say he's going to choose amazing colours? Maybe, maybe not. It's difficult to say. Once people have got a name, it's hard to say whether their ideas are good or bad. You got this Bridget Riley here, which, these are like the gouaches she would do to plan what she's actually going to do for the real picture. And I've got to say, this is obviously, I mean, she's got more clarity and decision making in what she's doing. She's obviously got two sort of lilac, and the rest I can't quite tell if they're all the same green or not. We've got two lilac, similar green, but of kind of cadmium yellow. He's just going to kind of sort of just going for all the colours he can find. So his is more, I don't know though, his is visually just as entertaining. Actually, two good pictures to look at together. His is visually entertaining. Hers is much more stoic, it's much more considered. Pat to Deathwaite, the outsider. A few pictures there. We're going upstairs a bit here to get a bit more of a vibe of the whole fair. You can see here, you can sort of see over the top of the galleries at the moment. And as we come up here, this downstairs is really a more main bit. I mean, I guess the galleries will pay more to be down here. But and then as you come up here, I guess it's slightly cheaper to have a space up here. And let's just keep strolling along.
Yeah. Well, we came up. Right. Well, let's make the same decision.
The idea is to kind of give you a whistle-stop tour of the art fair, so you get a vibe of what's here. It's difficult to stop and talk about every single picture, which does of course mean it's kind of, well, it shouldn't really be, but it doesn't end up being more about my taste than anything else. But do pull in the bottom if there's different things you'd like me to pause more over. This is more, I think this section, I don't know if it's purely prints, but certainly seems to be more a print section. You've got like David Hockney prints there. Those are one of his things he did on a lithograph with hand colouring. I'm not entirely sure there's a lithograph with hand colouring actually. I think that's actually, oh, sorry, that's Paul O'Reilly. I can't even find that picture. What was that? No, here it is right here. Yeah, so that is a lithograph with hand colouring. But then the Hockney one I was looking at, where is that? Yeah, handmade print executed on an office colour copier machine. So it is literally one of those things that he sort of photocopied. And then I think he put the sheets back in and re-photocopied them with different colours, just using a single colour at a time to get that kind of print effect, which is kind of cool and inventive and exciting. More Bridget Riley, a bit more David Hockney over there.
Yeah, Damien Hirst like that.
Doesn't really have anything such good or bad art anymore. There's just, easy to say, it's just stuff, but it's just art, some of which people are inspired by and some of which they aren't. So anyway, still strolling along. The theme for today would be, what do you see? Oh, that actually looks like my studio at home after my son and his friend did handprints all over it. Thought I'd have a little theme running through my head when I'm strolling around these exhibitions. And today I'm suddenly quite keen to have a theme of object. This is what people like today, objects. And this circular picture here is very much like an object.
It's very difficult.
It's not what you purely call like a painting. So what I'm really saying is, as opposed to an image on a canvas or a piece of paper on a wall. So here we go. There's I suppose you could call it a sculpture slash object. So I guess the question is, do people actually like to buy objects to take home, as it were? There's the Queen, slightly miserable. I suppose she would do. So here's interesting things. Even you got like one of these Tracy Emin sort of prints, I guess it is. Yeah, lithograph print, 1,500. Oops, sorry, you can't quite see that, can you? Let me move back. So it is actually literally just a print with her signature, bigger than the rest of the print. Installation shot. It's just a photo, but it's in a very nice black, deep frame. So in a way, you're still buying an object. You're buying something that looks like it is. I'm not sort of blaming Hurst on there. So both of these are in sort of expensive frames. So you're not just buying the picture at £65,000. That one, silkscreen with diamonds. So that's not actually even a real selection of butterfly wings. It's actually just a... But you'd be buying a statement, wouldn't you? Sort of old-fashioned paintings, but modern versions of them. Cartoons. I suppose you'd call it a cartoon. A painting of a cartoon, I guess you'd describe it as.
It kind of is
That's what I like. Yeah, that's what I like.
Mansion Hall. Right, so let's have a little stroll back downstairs on this kind of main section. And let's go over to the right hand side down here and see what's down this area. Let's have a little look. And this picture's quite a nice flat colour. Looks like a bit of flat colour. Appeals to me. It's interesting, even that one is actually by somebody who's dead, so it's interesting that wouldn't necessarily fit the bill as being something contemporary. Stroll on down here, a bit more old-fashioned, established stuff in this level.
About turning little bits into little kids' houses. I've been,
Barbara Ray, R.A. Big colourful sort of things. Continue on. More contemporary kind of collage. There you go. That's some quite funny pictures there. Little sort of creatures with their hands up against the... Oh yeah, you can guess they're like Woody and Thingy from that film. Their hands pressed up against the glass. They're cool, those things. Here we are, strolling on, just bumped into some people I know. This is quite a nice, funky Albert Irving. I just quite like these, nice, big, colourful. I remember being told that, by the collector John Talbot, that he was actually, Albert Irving was actually like a sort of gunner in a plane in the war. And so sometimes you might think of these as pretty and decorative, but perhaps within them there's quite a lot of actual more. It's like the look of explosions from the sky. Not that he's intentionally trying to bring that kind of message out. It's really cool, it's impossible to film properly, but you've got a really interesting kind of mesh on that. They've got the mesh on there. The mesh has a hole, so you must have painted over some kind of mesh, which is quite intriguing. Anyway, strolling on. There's lots of more sort of traditional-ish kind of pieces over here. Big sculpture again. Do like stuff like that. And down here, some big bits of metal. Large photos. So we go on. More photos. Oh, cool. This is one of those things that's always fun to film, isn't it? You've got a giant metallic ball which you can disappear into. Cool. There we go. Nice. So that's obviously, now that's actually probably a good example of an object, as I'm always trying to discuss, that it would be an object to take home, to entertain your friends. That's the question, should art be an object to take home to entertain your friends, or should it be something that changes the way we see the world? All these guys, Julie Cockburn, in 1966, they do love stuff that kind of distorts what's going on in the background. I don't know why, but I'm obsessed that sort of distorting or rubbishing what's in the background is really effective. So these would be my favourite pictures so far by a long way. But obviously they relate to what I do, which is putting black and white distortion forms on top of pretty backgrounds. But I like them, I think they're good. I don't know why, there's something I can't quite explain about that necessity for distorting. It's almost as if everything's too... Oh look, you've got little ones here, that's quite fun as well. I like these, they're cool. Oh, these are even better. And you've got these little bits of felt, actually felt on top of what must be old photographs. You've got these zigzag ones down here. I don't like the zigzag ones as much, but I do like the ones with the felt.
Bumbuckler.